right? In starting, gouache create little bit problem. Why it happens? Because sometimes water is more, sometimes pigment is too much, so it start cracking. Okay. So you need to find that sweet spot in between, and it will take time. How you can get out of it? Once you check the consistency. Do it one time, then do it another time, then third time, then fourth time. You will get idea what is working for you, right? So yesterday I have shown you the lot of exercises. Those exercises can be used as it can be a mistake, and it can be used as a technique. But the thing is, you should know when to use that technique, when this is it's working as a technique, and when it's a mistake, right? So that is one thing that you have to figure out, and it will come only with the practice. Believe me. In starting, when I worked with Gouache, so I'm telling you my first experience. I did for the first time, and it was actually I started with poster colors, right? It close to gouache. Only difference is it's more towards chalkiness. You will see more whitish kind of pigment there, or it's some binding agent is there, which is look more towards the okay, it's a perfect one, right? So it looks like more toward whitish kind of shades. So this is difference between gouache and poster colors. So I started with poster colors, and I was not able to handle at all. I was not able to understand what exactly this medium is. And I have learned in my fine arts, when I was doing my fine arts, this was a topic, poster colors, right? And I was not able to handle that. But when I understand the consistency, why I'm doing this mistake, is my paper right? Am I using right amount of water? Am I using right amount of pigment? So then slowly you understand things, right? So now here I'm telling you what is mistake and what mistakes you have to avoid to overcome those kind of problems, right? So don't think if something is not working for you on screen, it looks very easy. But if you practice one time, two time, at least do it five times. Okay, one exercise. One time it doesn't mean that it will going to work for you one time. At least try five times. One single exercise, try five times, right? And if you are just working on this much area, so again, it will not going to help you. At least do in this much section. Okay, one exercise. I am showing you just because to save your time. Okay, otherwise this portion if I'll do, it will take a lot of time. And you know we have to work on our painting also, right? So I'm trying to cover as much as possible here. I'm trying to give all the knowledge, whatever I know about gouache. It's like a overview for you all. Okay. Gouache is lot more, because when I say it can work as an acrylic, it can work as a watercolor, it can work as a oil also, right? That means we have lot to cover. But the overview, I'm giving you what is the power of gouache, right? So if you're just working on these tiny surface, maybe you'll get result in this much area. But once you try the same technique in bigger surface, then you will know that, oh, I need to work more, right? So the idea here is, if I'm showing you in this much area, I'm showing you the technique. Now the same thing you have to at least try the A5 size paper. Okay, so this much section, if I divide my sheet, it's a A5. So at least try every single technique in A5 size. Okay, then you will find that actually you are able to handle gouache or not, right? So
Ma'am, can you please name the techniques?
As such, like yesterday, we have shared the techniques. One is blending technique, blending, mixing, layering. These are the three techniques. Okay. But we have lot of exercise of blending. Again, mixing, lot of techniques are there. And layering, again, lot of techniques. Sometimes we use more water. Sometimes we use pigment more. Okay. To blend the things. But the techniques are three. Same techniques are there in watercolor also. Three techniques. So same you can say here also, wet on dry, dry brush technique. Okay. Same, whatever techniques are there in watercolor, same technique we are going to use here, right? Yeah. And then we are also using like it as an acrylic. So then we have to do that type of layering. Today we are going to prepare a one small mini size painting, so you will get idea. According to the consistency of paint, you will get idea how to use that wash. Okay. So it will be more clarity in this session today. So yeah, let's start the session. Before starting, if you have any question, you can ask. Like if you want to ask in chat, you can ask your
Ma'am,
yes.
ma'am, like when we do blending, yesterday we did blending now, whatever, two color, is that mixing or blending? When we use two colors, na, red and blue, so that is blending or mixing?
See, when above section you are using different color, bottom you are using different color, right? And then you
Okay,
are trying to merge them. So when you merge both the colors, that is called merging,
okay.
right?
So, ma'am, in that we have to use the pure paint with little water, or
See,
we
ideal
use.
technique is if you don't want to struggle. So I will say pigment amount should be more. Okay. Sometimes what we do, we try to use less pigment and we keep water more. Then we get lot of strokes when we do this wash. Okay. You will see the lines and strokes in your book. So to avoid that, increase the amount of pigment. So pigment should be good and water should be like, you keep it like a creamy consistency. Okay. When you see the cream, what is the consistency of that cream? Soft. Okay. It should not be very thick and not very diluted. Keep that in between, creamy consistency. I'll show
Ma'am,
you
one more
again.
question. Like yesterday, some
Hmm.
paint was left in the tray that
Okay.
I have used. So, is that lose their natural like
Okay.
shining or
Yes.
something?
Okay. So see what happens when we are using dry paints again. See, my palette is completely dry and you can see paints are quite thick and you know I have to do a lot of mixing with water, then only I can get this paint back. Okay. So I need to reactivate with water. But now what happens when you use water to reactivate your paint again? So you lose the consistency. That means your water will be more in your pigment. Okay. And then you apply in your sheet. So that way, maybe it's a problem. Okay. So what you do, just to prepare the same consistency, you again squeeze some paint from your tube. You use that one also, and plus you add more pigment. Okay. So that way you can get so vibrant in terms of vibrancy, there will be no issue. Only you are going to lose that consistency. Like, I mean, the thickness. Your paint will be more thin. So you have to bring that consistency again. Okay. Other than that, there is no issue. But my recommendation is use only that much paint which is required. Don't use squeeze lot of paint because next day again you are going to spend lot of time just to reactivate your paint. Okay. So yes, definitely we use. I also use a lot of when lot of pigment is there in my tray, I reactivate it. It's not an issue. Okay. But the only thing is you have to take care of consistency. How much pigment you are using. Yes. Any other question? Okay.
Ma'am, for these exercises, we have to use 300 GSM paper only.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to use 300 GSM, right?
Okay,
As a
ma'am.
beginner, we need a 300 GSM. It's very important so that you get the right amount of time so that you can work on your painting and your paper will not twist and turn. Okay, if the thickness is less, so you will see these type, your paper will twist and turn this way, and then it's very frustrating. Okay, and sometimes your paper your paper, you will see that it's coming off when you keep rubbing your, or you keep applying the washes after washes. So you see that paper is coming off. So to avoid that, use a good quality paper. Canson is the cheapest paper. Okay, you can go with that. And then Fabriano you can use. Then also you can upgrade to the expensive one. So the thicker the paper, the more good is for your practice or your paintings. Right? Yeah. So okay, now we'll start with the session quickly and just practice along with me. See what I'm doing and you try to do same thing, right? And yeah, let's start with the session. And if you have any other questions, you just type, okay? Type in chat. Okay, I'll switch my screen. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to use my fresh palette today because I don't have time to reactivate this paint again. See, you can do it. I'll show you. You just take water and then you just rinse your brush first and then you can reactivate your paint again. See, we can reactivate again and then you can apply. Right? Only problem is that you need to find the right consistency. If you apply water, that means you need pigment also. So when you add water, with water, you also check that what is the thickness of your paint. If it is too thin, then you will get a lot of strokes. I'll just show you. This is actually a good question. When you again reactivate your paint, what happens? See, now this is a good consistency. I can see even paint. Okay. Now, if you use lot of water here, while reactivating your paint, you accidentally use lot of water. Now you can see here, this, if your palette is visible, okay, this way you can see the palette. That means this is very thin paint. You can use it, but in some techniques, like if you are doing the layering and you have already done 2 layers and 3 layers, and on top of that, if you use this, it will reactivate your base layers again. Okay, and it can create a problem. So let me use this somewhere. I'll use here. Okay. And by mistake, if you press hard, you will not get the fresh red. It will keep mixing with your base colors. Okay. So this red here, it's different and here it's different. I can get this fresh paint here also, but you have to take care of the consistency, how thick your paint is. Right? Another thing, again, I'll tell you. that, see, if again my paint is watery and thin, so this is a mistake. And then we do this way. Short strokes. What is happening? You're getting a lot of strokes here. So avoid this thing. This is a mistake. You will get a lot of strokes here. Okay. So what you have to do, just use your pigment and go with bigger strokes. Then you will get the clean, smooth work. See? But if I use this short strokes, what will happen? See, you will get these type of patches. Sometimes it's good because you need that kind of impression in your work. So that is good, right? But you should know where you have to use this and where you have to use this. Okay. Yes. Now let's start with the session. Check your brushes if your brushes are clean. And always go with the bigger size brushes if you want to avoid those kind of strokes. Okay, you can even go with this brush, which is number 10. So if you, it depends on how much area you are working. If you are working on this much area, okay, from here to here, so bigger size, okay, bigger size brush is good. But if you are working on small area, this much area, then this can work. Okay, so this is number 6 and this is number 10. So make sure whenever you are working on bigger size area, use bigger brush to avoid getting those strokes. And when working on smaller areas, you can use this type of brush. Okay, number 6. Or any brush, but one should be medium size and one should be bigger size. Okay, so I'll change my palette because otherwise you will not able to see what colors I'm mixing, right? I'm going to use a small palette because it's easily fitting in my screen. And let's squeeze some paint. So I'm going to use a red first. Only squeeze that much paint which is required. Don't, don't squeeze too much. I only need this much right now, so that is enough for me. Okay. Then white. See, white, you need a lot in wash. So maybe your white, you will run out of your white paint very fast. Because when we do the color mixing, white plays a very important role. Okay. So it's completely fine. Instead of using thin paints, it's better to use thick paint. That will happen by just using white pigment. Okay, I'll just show you when I'll work on my painting. So I'll show you. So let's do some mixing. Now this paint is quite thick. if I directly use in my sheet, so I will not able to drag my paint. I'll show you. We have done this yesterday. So this is my pure pigment and I'm directly using on my sheet. You see here, I can't drag more. I'm running out of this water. That means you need water at this stage. So what you will do, just dip the corner of your brush, okay, in water. I just dip the corner of my brush and I can reactivate. I can just add, dilute your paint, find that creamy consistency. It should be creamy. Okay, so now this is good. And then if you drag it, you will easily able to do it. So it is nice and opaque, and plus I'm able to drag it. See, as much as I want, I can easily able to drag it. You can also do it along with me because on top of this, I want to show you something. Okay, so that will be an exercise for you. So if you have the good amount of water in your pigment, good amount doesn't mean that you put lot of water. Good amount means where you can prepare that creamy consistency and you can drag your paint nicely. Okay, so this is hard. This pure pigment is hard to drag, but if you add one drop of water, you will easily able to drag the paint. Right? Now, let's bring this red color to a creamy consistency. Now you can prepare along with me. I have just one drop of water in my brush and I'm mixing. Okay, here everyone is struggling to get the right consistency. So just work along with me and you see you will find the right consistency here. Okay. Little bit more water, very less. And again, I'll mix. You can see I'm easily able to slide my paint. So this is thick and creamy. So always add water little by little by just dipping the corner of your brush and then you mix it. See, is it right for you or not? Again, you need, again, dip the corner of your brush and then don't dip the complete brush. Otherwise, then you will get a lot of water in your brush and you will not able to handle your pigment. Right? So here is the one of the most important thing that you have to keep in mind. Now at the same time, I can prepare my another color. So let's do with white also. And for mixing white, if you want to prepare the right consistency of white, I would suggest it use a separate brush because if I'm going to use this brush, this is full of red. Okay. So even my bristles, there will be deposition of red color here. And if I use to just bring this opacity to, I mean the right consistency, so accidentally I'll get a lightish pink color, okay, or light red color because there is a lot of pigment still after rinsing also. So in that case, you can use another brush if you want to keep your paint fresh. So I'll just use another one. I have the surround brush. I'll first of all rinse my brush and I'm just going to take one drop of water and let's bring this to a nice creamy consistency. This is still thick. I need little more water. So I'll just dip. Now I have the another drop of water here. So always use water drop by drop. Again, I leave little bit more. And this is the right amount of, see, this is the right amount of pigment. So it's quite creamy. Same thing I'll do with my yellow. And you should have two jars of water, okay? One you can see it's quite dirty. It's red, full of red. And I have another one here, okay? So keep always two jars of water. And now I can do same thing with my yellow. Now you can see this yellow has some little bit traces of a red color because I mix a red with same color. Okay, now you can see this pigment here. You can see this red pigment is mixing with yellow. Okay, so that's the reason I say if you need any color fresh and vibrant, you use different brush or clean your brush nicely. So I have a creamy consistency here also. Now what we are going to do, see, I have this yellow. I'll just take this yellow here and I'm going to mix little bit with my white. And let's see how much um, shades we can prepare with this white. Okay. You can use any yellow and any white. Now I will keep adding this yellow to my white. Okay. White will going to increase opacity of your color. So every time I'm adding more yellow, okay, and I'm also adding white to it. I'm adding more yellow here. Okay. Then if I need a little bit of orangish kind of touch, what I'll do, I'll just dip corner of my brush in red color and I will mix here with this yellow color. And you can see this turned into a orange, yellowish orange. Okay, I'll add more yellow here because I'm running out of yellow. And then I will add more red color. Okay, it will turn into more orange color. Right. Again, I'll do same thing. I will add more red here and more yellow. This is little bit darker than this one, right? Same thing I do. Now I'm increasing the amount of red and reducing the amount of blue. This yellow, sorry. So this is more toward reddish orange, right? Again, I'm going to increase. I'm going to use more yellow. If you are moving more toward red, increase the amount of red. If you are going more towards yellow, so you use more yellow, less red. So this is more orangish yellow. Okay. I will use more red here and less orange, less yellow. And this way you can create n number of shades. But I have not used any less water here. Consistency of my paint is same. Okay. Paint is thicker here. That creamy consistency is here and creamy consistency is here also. That means in all my shade, there is a creamy consistency. Okay. So if you want to reduce any shade or you want the lighter version of that shade, you just use white in that. Right? I'll just do one swatch for you so that you get some idea. I have yellow here. And what I'm going to do, first I will use I'll prepare one tone here, which is orange. So you know we can prepare orange by mixing red plus some yellow. So I'll first prepare that. Now you check what opacity you need. You want dark to more towards orange or you need more towards red or you want more yellowish kind of or orangish kind of shades. So I prepare one orange color which is more towards red. More towards me, that color should be dominant. If you're using red and you want to make it more towards a reddish kind of orange, so you put more red. If you want to show more yellow, so you put more yellow than red. And I'm making sure that my brush is nicely clean. Otherwise, you will keep mudding your colors. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I will use this. This is the right consistency. I'm going to use it here. Okay. Now, if you need the light shade of this, don't add water. Okay. So first I will show you what happens when we add water. We think like it will turn light. Okay. I will add more water and let's see what happens. I rinse my brush again and this time I'm going to use plain water so that I can show you that gradient effect. Okay. So this is a one way that we use in watercolors. Here water is more, so I'm getting these type of strokes because My pigment is uneven. Here pigment is thick, but here I added more water, so my pigment is thin. So that's the reason somewhere it is like you can see the paper tone. Okay, paper is visible. Sometimes colors are uneven, right? Now, if I want to use this kind of gradient, what I will do? I will mix white to my same color. Okay, now this is quite watery. So I'm going to prepare, I'm going to add more red to this one so that I can make that consistency again. So I'll put more red here and I will also add some yellow. Okay, so I need that right amount of thickness of paint. So this is good now. It's quite thick and creamy, not very thick and not watery. So this I can drag very easily. So first I will use this one. See, nice thick and creamy paint. And now if I want to create gradient, what I'll do, I will just add some white to this color. You do mixing well, okay? And then from here, I'm going to bring this down. If you want more whitish kind of shade, you add more white. You want more whitish, you keep adding white. Now here you want to keep reddish kind of tone more and here you want to keep light red. Okay, so then it's good. But now it will be a mistake if you go back and try to fix this area because you can see some lines here. Okay, so it's a mistake if you go back because we have a lot of white paint in our brush. So don't do this. Don't go back. If you go till here, that will be mistake. So avoid that mistake. What you have to do, rinse your brush immediately. You just need clean brush. Okay, dab it in your paper towel again, clean in another water, and then you again dab in your paper towel. Your brush should be damp. Okay, and then you can bring this down to do a mixing. And that way you will not get any kind of stroke. You will get a very smooth result. Very, very smooth. Okay. And don't judge your colors when colors are wet. When it dries, result will be completely different. Okay. So when colors are wet, it looks darker. And when colors will dry, it will look lighter. Same you can see in your color palette. When your colors are wet, you will see colors are darker. And when it get dry, your colors will look lighter. So it's opposite, right? Now, same thing, I can show you in a little bit bigger surface. Now see, don't only try this much. I want you to practice this exercise in a bigger size. So do it in A5 size at least. Then only you'll get idea of mixing, blending and layering. Okay. I'll show you one more with yellow. So here on top, if I want to use this yellow, if on top I want to use yellow, I add it. And I want a gradient. When I go down, I need a nice gradient. So what I'll do, now to this mix, I'm going to add some white. I'll add white, give a good mix. And now you immediately add here. You want more light shade, you add more white. Now don't go here. If you want your yellow to be fresh, so you accidentally, if you go like this from lighter to darker, your darker color will get lighter. So don't do that mistake, right? And if I need a white, complete bright white here, so what I can do, first of all, remove all the pigment from your brush, okay? And you use white. So I have a right consistency. I don't need any water here. And I will just use white and I will move in upward direction. But if you think you are not able to drag your paint, what you have to do, just tip the corner of your brush. Okay. So I'll just tip the corner of my brush. And then you move in a upward direction. Now, again, if you don't want to ruin this area, because this is more towards whitish kind of yellow, and this is different shade. So what you have to do, immediately either you change your brush or you use the same brush, but rinse your brush first. Okay, so I'll just rinse my brush. I'll remove the extra pigment. I don't want this lighter tone to disturb my vibrant yellow. So now I have cleaned my brush and I have removed the extra water now. What I'll do, I'll start from top section and then I'll go down if I want to do the blend. So every time I'm rinsing my brush, even if I'm going from lighter to darker shade, just make sure that you are not moving to the fresh tones. And if you are going from darker to lighter tones, make sure that you rinse your brush in between because you don't want to ruin your lighter shades. This is really, really important. Okay, so by seeing your exercises, this is what I realized that we all are doing these type of mistakes. Sometimes water is more, sometimes pigment is more. If pigment is too much, then your paint will crack. Okay. And if you put too much of pigment in your base layer, then if you apply a new layer on top and that is watery, more towards water, what will happen? It will again reactivate with water. Okay. If you try to put another layer on top, you will not able to apply another layer, but you will disturb your base layer. So this will happen. This will happen if you put too much of water. So avoid these mistakes. Now, one more thing. Yeah, I want to discuss the same thing here. What happened when we add the another layer on top? So if here one side I'm going to add a fresh red color. This is fresh red. and the consistency is right. Okay. There is no problem with the consistency. But now what I'm doing, I'm telling you what is right way and what is wrong way. What is the mistake that if you are impatient guy and you don't wait for your first layer to dry, still you can see this is, this is wet. You can see that. And if I try to add another layer on top, you can see I have vibrant, fresh white in my brush, completely pure white. But I'm not getting any white. It's more toward reddish, or it's looking like a pinkish color. This is not fresh. Okay. So you can see this layer is completely dry. We have painted, it was like almost 30 minutes. But you make sure that your layer is dry. You don't have to wait for 30 minutes or 40 minutes. Your layer will immediately dry, but you have to make sure that it is dry. Okay. Now I'm using the same paint here. And you can see here I'm getting vibrant, fresh white. Even I can do the thick layers. See how vibrant and fresh this color is. So what is the idea behind telling this exercise, or why I'm sharing this? That we as a beginner, we do a lot of mistake. We don't wait for first layer to dry and we immediately start adding another layer on top. So avoid these kind of mistakes. If you are doing it intentionally, then it's good. But if you are doing the layering technique and you need multiple layers on top, so make sure at least your first layer is dry completely, right? Yeah. Now, let's put everything together into a practice and we'll prepare a mini piece here. So you will get some idea. For this exercise, I'm not going to use too much of paint. We will work with the limited set. So we have yellow. And you can see that with just by mixing yellow and white, I can prepare the shade. And by mixing red with yellow, I can prepare these shades. And I can create multiple shades. So I'm using this yellow and I need white. So I'll put some white, fresh white somewhere else. So I'm putting white here. And white, we always need more. Okay. So don't hesitate to put a lot of pigment in your palette when you're working because you need it. Okay. Sometimes we get scared to use pigment more, so we go more towards water. That is a mistake. You avoid that. Okay. I think I have enough red. I can use this one only. Okay. So let's prepare something. So first of all, what we'll do? Just prepare the right consistency of paint. So I'm going to mix my white first, bring it to creamy consistency, and I'll keep adding a drop of white. Again, a little bit more. So I need a creamy consistency, okay? Still, this is thick, so I'll use more. You just imagine the melted butter. Okay, so that should be the consistency. Same I'll do with yellow. Drop by drop, add water and bring it to the nice sweet consistency, like creamy. Creamy is best for gouache. You spend some good time with mixing because we need an equal amount of water in our pigment. So you can see this is again nice creamy paint. This is what I want. And then red I have here. I don't need pure red, so I'm going to make it orangish. Okay. So I already have yellow in my brush, so I can mix with my red because I need orange, not red. Mhm. So I don't want to disturb my this fresh yellow color. So what I'll do, I can squeeze some yellow here on red section so that I can make it orange. Right. So now we can start. If by mistake you think you add more water, so what you do, you take more pigment and bring it to same consistency. Now see, my surface is bigger in size, okay? From here to here, I'm going to work. So do you think this brush will work? Do you think this will give me a smooth result? No, right? So that means I'm going to use this one because this is a bigger size and I can easily drag my paint from here to here. According to the size of your painting, your area, you need to switch your brushes. Keep in mind. Otherwise, you will struggle with lot of strokes. So what I'm going to do, um, I'm going to make a gradient here, right? And I told you that if you need more whitish kind of yellow, you use more white. If you need more reddish kind of oranges or reddish kind of yellow, so you use red. So I'm keeping set very simple. I have red here, I have yellow and white, right? So we are going to create that gradient here. So what I'm going to do, first, I am going to keep my paint fresh, right? So I'm using white color. Okay, and I'm going to start from my bottom because I want these colors to be fresh. So I'm using white here in the middle section. And then I can pick little by little, I'll pick yellow. And then I will Use more yellow here. And now I want more orangish kind of yellow. What I'll do, just I'll dip the corner of my brush in yellow. If you don't want to disturb all your colors, so you just mix separately. Okay. Or you do it here. Whatever works for you, you just do that way. Okay, so I'm just going to use this red here because I need the good amount of pigment. Again, I'll start this way. Now you don't go down because you are going to lose your this color, right? And I will add more red here just to make it more orangish. So top section, I'm making more towards orange shade. Now, accidentally, you don't go down. If you need to blend your shades, you rinse your brush at this time. Okay, so I'll quickly rinse my brush. You rinse your brush, dab it in your paper towel because you don't need extra water. And then you start from the bottom part and you start going in a upward direction if you want to blend your lighter shade into darker shades. Right? Again, you rinse your brush. If your brush you feel like it's dry, dab it, extra water remove, and then again you move in a upward direction this way. Again, you feel like you want to blend some orange more. You want a smooth transition. Again, rinse your brush. Okay. Again, you can start from top section and go down. So you have to do this process multiple times if you need the smooth gradient. And avoid, see, I am doing bigger sizes, bigger strokes. Don't do the small. Otherwise, you will get patches, lot of patches in your work. Right? I want to add, I think I can add more white here, bottom part. So I'll add some white. And if you feel like that your colors are drying, you add little by little, just drop by drop. And now with this paint, I can go in upward direction. But if you don't want to disturb your yellow, what you do, you rinse your brush or you use different brush. So I'll just rinse my brush. Rinse my brush. And from this yellow, I'll go down again. Now, if you want to use any color, let's use blue color here. Do or I'm going to make it purple. So what I'll do, I can mix some red in my blue color so it will turn into a purple. Okay. So I'm adding some red to my blue. This is ultramarine blue. You can use any blue, whatever you have, and bring it to the right consistency. And I will keep this paint separate little bit because I'm going to mix some white here in this paint. Okay, that's the reason I'm keeping it separate. So half of the paint I can use white and half of the paint I can keep it fresh. So I'm using white here. And you can see the color is completely changed now. The opacity of this color is completely changed. And my pigment is creamy and thick, okay? Now what I can do, I can, like if I want to create in distance, I want to create mountains, I can do that. If your paint is watery, it will mix with your base layer and then it can give you a lot of trouble. Now it is drying. This paint is drying. So I can add some water, very less. I told you just need to dip the corner of your brush and then you will be done. Okay, and you can this way if you want to create some distant trees, you can do it. I want to show you the values and how you can create different colors. So let's keep it very, very simple. I'm not doing much, right? And then if I need more darker value, what I'm going to do, I can add more blue to this color to make it more dark, right? So I can use more blue to this mix. And now this time it will get more dark, right? And see here, this bottom layer is still wet. It's not dry. So if you are going to mix or you add on top of it, okay? So you have to be careful. Either you wait for this layer to dry or you just do it very carefully. So I'm adding the another layer of mountains here. I will add more purple color here so that I get more dark. Now, if I will not wait for this layer to dry, it can disturb my another layer. It will reactivate and it will not going to give me that same darkness, right? So what I can do, color should be nice opaque. And then you put light pressure if your base colors are not dry or you just wait. And here I want to keep it very, very dark. So I'll just use this pure pigment here, which is quite dark. I can use it for the foreground. If you keep doing this way, you will get a lot of brush marks. Sometimes this looks like it gives a good impression in your work, but if you need the smooth one, don't do this. Okay. Small, small stroke. This can give you a lot of patches. So this was just a value study where I have shown you how you can go lighter and how you can go darker. If you want to go darker, you can use any color which is dark. Blue color, use blue with some red color instead of directly using your black. You can use red to make it dark. Okay. You can also use black, but using directly black in your paintings, it looks a flat color. Just avoid that. Okay. Um, so see, if I want to add something, if my layer is dry and I want to add some white, any white thing on top, I can do it and you will get a nice, crisp and fresh. I'll just show you the close-up view. See, now if I add something white, and here this white doesn't make a sense, but I'm telling you, I'm just showing you whatever exercise we did. We are just trying to implement all that here. If I want to create something here. So now this is working like a acrylic on top. And why we are getting this nice, crisp and fresh color? Because my bottom layer is completely dry. You can do anything. See on top, you will get nice, fresh and vibrant. So if your consistency of your paint is good, you will get good result. All right. I hope everything is clear so far.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, you need practice, right? Any medium need practice. So if it is not working right now, just practice. So I want to keep things very, very simple for you all. And I'm not doing much because first I want you to achieve this result. And you just keep practicing the same thing that we have done in yesterday's session, that we have done in today's session. Just keep on doing all that, and you will get the good result. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to do, I'll show you how you can do the clouds part, how you can make that cloud, fluffy cloud kind of work. Okay, for today's session, I think this much is enough, because if you will not able to achieve this much, then you will struggle with the painting part, because the background of painting, I'll show you. See the background, why we are doing these practices. Because the background part, you can see it's full of gradient. Light color, okay, to orangish kind of tone, and then dark orange. So this is your homework now. You have to do it. Like you try to just see this gradient, okay? Just forget about everything. You just check like this, okay? From here to here, you have to prepare this gradient. Now you know how much white you need here. You know how much yellow you need here. If you are able to achieve this result, then your entire painting will be easy for you, right? So I only want you to achieve, just do this practice in A5 size paper, that you have to just come up with this area. Bring the nice gradient from light blue color, then more towards orange, then more orange, then a little touch of orange here, and then bottom you can add this color, more yellow, right? So these are the same colors that I've shown you here. You just need to increase the amount of white if you need more lightest kind of yellow, and if you need more yellow, you add more darkest kind of yellow or more towards orange tone. What you can do, you can use red. Okay, so the color mixing will be same, and you can get this. So the top section, you can use any kind of blue, just use white on that blue. Okay, if you want, I can show you a little bit, but first of all, let me show you this one. Okay, so this is just a color mixing practice. Once your gouache dry, it's give you a matte finish. Okay, so this is difference between the acrylic and the gouache, that when you acrylic color dry, it give you a glossy finish. Okay, and when your gouache dry, it gives you the matte finish. So you will get the nice matte finish in your colors. Right? And you can see that the lighter colors will look darker, and the darker color will get lighter. Like I added a lot of darker color. So when this was wet, it was looking quite dark. And now this is getting lighter and lighter. And here this white will get more vibrant. Okay. So the gradient part, how you have to do it. I have this color here, and I'll show you with this color. So most of my colors are drying, so I can quickly do one spray. I don't want to make it too watery. Okay, that means, see, I don't have enough paint in my palette now. That means I need more paint. If I add water and if I try to use this much paint, so this is a mistake because it's too watery. So I need to add pigment here. Okay, so I'll quickly add some pigment. You can see how much pigment I have added. And now I have enough water. I just need to dilute. If you need this kind of gradient, what you will do, it's more towards whitish kind of shade. That means what is dominant color here? More white, right? So it's a light blue color. So you put white more and less blue. Okay. So I'm going to use all this white color here. This is the right color that I need. And you can see I mixed. So I'm not using water to lighter my values, but I'm using white. Okay, and now I can go this way. See? Make sure your brush is clean. And if you want to use another paint here, so you keep your colors prepared. Okay, it should be prepared in advance. So if I want to add white, more white here, I will just add white and I will move in an upward direction. If I need more white, you keep adding your white. If instead of increasing your white, you try to use water, then you will get different consistency. Here will be thicker and here will be lighter. Then it will be a mixed result. Okay, and now you can see there is a lighter shade and here it is looking darker shade. Now what should I do? I should rinse my brush at this time. Rinse nicely. And then you dab it in your paper towel. And now you can start from this top section. And then bring it down. And if you don't want to disturb your lighter shade, again rinse your brush and you start from lighter value and move towards the darker value. So I'm starting from lighter shade and then I will move toward this shade. If you want more white, you add more white here, pure white here, and then you move in upward direction. Okay, and use the bigger size brush. So if I want to make it a more blue here, what I'll do, I will use more blue. So you can do anything. You can go back and you can fix the values as many times as you want. See, I can add darker blue here again. And this way you go down. If you want to add more blue, you can. And the another thing is that don't use a tip of brush when you are doing these type of flat techniques. Use this area, flat surface. So what I do, I use the flat area, like I do this way. Okay. If you try to use the tip, you will not able to drag it. You have to use this flat part. of your brush. That way you can get a nice smooth these type of gradients. And you can spread the paint nicely. And if you feel like this, that, see, this is happening, so that means you need to add water here. Okay. So for next session, that is tomorrow, you need a practice. Okay. So we are going to prepare this thing together tomorrow in tomorrow's session. But I want you to practice this part, that how you get the gradient, right? I hope everything is clear. If you have any question, you can just ask me. I'll just switch my camera. Yes. Do you think it's too much of information? And I'm confused. Okay. Do you think you are getting some clarity about gouache? Yeah, I
Yes,
think
ma'am.
so. Keep practicing. See, don't lose hope, because in when we are working with gouache, few stages looks ugly. When you're building that stage, you will feel like it's not coming up. You are going in wrong direction. But believe me, keep working. First few stages, like first layer, second layer, third layer, fourth layer, can look like that it's not, I'm not going in right direction. Okay. But you have to only take care of few things, like right amount of pigment, right amount of water, and what is a technique that you are working on. Okay, what type of reference image you are working on. So I'm focusing on this reference image, and according to this reference image, I am sharing exercise with you, right? Yes. Any questions? Anything you can ask me.
Ma'am, I get many strokes while applying the layer.
Okay. So what you do, you increase the amount of paint in your work. Okay. This is not watercolor. We
Okay.
don't have to water it down. When we, especially when you are doing the blending, when you need these kind of a smooth background, so you need good amount of pigment. Use thick pigment, and then what, add water little by little, drop by drop. So you add 1 drop of water to your pigment, you mix it nicely, and then you check, is this pigment or is this consistency good for you? If not, you again add 1 more drop, and then you try to blend. You blend one time and switch your different color, you again put. So if you are using more paint, you will get the good result, right? So why we get the strokes? Because we use pigment less and water is more. Okay. So just keep trying. You will get it. Anyone else? Okay. If you are doing along with me, you can share inside community. Okay. Okay. Douglas, you have any questions? How your practice going on? Confused or need to practice more? What is there in your mind? Oh, that's great. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, paints get dry fast. Yes, I can understand. That means you add more. If you are increasing the amount of pigment, you also add water. So just keep in mind the cream, okay? Your hand cream or any cream, what is the consistency of that cream? It should be that only, right? And it depends what part of country we are in. According to that, your wash will dry faster, right? So you have to maintain, there should be a good moisture so that when you are dragging, so you will not get the strokes. But if you are not able to drag your paint and it's drying faster, so you can get the strokes in your work and there will not be a smooth transition. Okay. Right. Anything else? Okay. Okay, good, Ravi.
Tell me,
Thanks.
the brushes. I battled to get mine clean. Is it like a cheap brush or should I get a more decent brush? Because I'm have endless problem just cleaning my brushes.
Okay, so you just look for synthetic hair brushes or even acrylic brushes. Acrylic flat brushes also works very well with the wash
Okay.
because it doesn't hold lot of water. If you are using watercolor brushes, that's completely fine, but the problem is it holds lot of water. It's especially meant for watercolors. Okay,
Okay.
so
Good
use
idea.
synthetic hair brushes or use acrylic. You try with the acrylic flat brushes also. It will not hold that much water.
Okay, I left that at the farm.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Okay, so I need to go buy different ones. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yes, Rama, you were showing your work. So far, I can see the gradient is nicely done. Okay, so yeah, just upload your works inside community. Okay, I'm just going to add one post there, second day practice, and I'm going to upload all these things there. So below that, you have to upload your works. That way, we can be accountable to each other if we really want to improve our works. Okay, and then it will be very easy for you. You go back and you see your first day result, you will see your second day, and fifth day, you will see that there is a huge transition in your books. Okay, so that's the reason I'm saying just go to community. Whatever you are doing, just post there so that I can give you feedback and I can review your work. Right? WhatsApp is like everyone is posting and I'm not able to understand whose work and I'm not able to give you the feedback. But if you go to the community and you just post your work in comment section, so it is designed properly that you have your work, below that work is your the question you have, and then I can answer. Okay. Yeah. So that is the
Yeah.
best way. And yeah, this way we can be accountable to each other. Right? Yes, so I hope the second day was very informative for you all. You learn about the blending because blending is one of the most important topics in gouache, right? And the consistency of paint. So you just practice this tomorrow and we'll meet again, okay? This time. And then we are going to work on the background part. Okay. Finally, we are going to work on painting. So before that, you need to practice. Right? Don't worry, everything will be good. Just do it in a right way. And if you want to watch the recording again, just do it and practice along. Right? Yeah. Okay, so shall we end the session now?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay, guys. So see you tomorrow, same time, and keep practicing. Right? Yeah. So finally, we are starting tomorrow with the painting. Okay, then bye bye, everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you,
Thank-
ma'am.
You're welcome. Thank you, mom.